Have you ever wondered if you truly see things as they really are? Do you believe your perspective is completely accurate, or that you're objective about the situations in your life? Research suggests that the meaning we assign to everything in our life is based on just 10% of the actual facts. Surprising, right? The rest comes from our interpretive lens, our unique way of viewing the world. Essentially, we're creating a story about the facts. Once we grasp this concept, it can be life-changing. We begin to see that the quality of our life is profoundly connected to the stories we create and tell ourselves. In other words, it's not the events or experiences themselves that define us, but the meaning we assign to them. In essence, we hold the pen. We are the authors of our own reality. By recognizing this, we gain the power to shape our perspective, reframe our narratives, and influence the direction of our lives. Here's some fascinating science to consider. Cognitive neuroscientists have discovered that our conscious brain processes around 40 bits of information per second. Meanwhile, our subconscious brain handles a staggering 40 million bits per second. That is a mind-blowing difference. Our subconscious and unconscious mind are working overtime, processing data, even as our conscious awareness handles just a fraction of it. Add to that the fact that we have about 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts a day and make roughly 35,000 decisions daily. It's no wonder we rely so heavily on mental shortcuts and narratives to make sense of it all. Here's the catch. To cope with the slower processing speed of the conscious mind and reduce the cognitive overload, the brain delegates as much information as possible to the subconscious mind. The subconscious, operating at a much faster pace, creates shortcuts by identifying patterns and predicting meanings based upon past experiences. These shortcuts take the form of narratives, mental stories shaped by the programming of the subconscious mind, which is deeply influenced by prior experiences that hold specific beliefs and emotions. As a result, the reality we perceive today is often less about what's subjectively happening in the moment, but maybe more about how our mind interprets it through the lens of our past. So what does this mean for us? It means that much of what we see, feel, and believe is influenced by subconscious filters. Filters that we may not even be aware of. These filters affect how we see and assign meaning to facts, which ultimately shapes our emotions, decisions, and actions. For example, imagine two people get stuck in a traffic jam. One might feel frustrated, thinking this is wasting my time. Another might feel grateful for the chance to listen to their favorite podcast. Same situation, completely different stories, and therefore completely different experiences. The good news is that we're not stuck with our current filters. We can change them. By doing so, we can reshape the stories we tell ourselves and ultimately transform our reality. If we want to change our life, we need to start by changing the lens through which we see it. This requires becoming aware of the filters that are shaping our thoughts, emotions, and actions, and tapping into the influence of our pure intelligence to create clarity in the moment. By consciously choosing to question our old beliefs and replace them with healthier, more empowering ones, we can rewrite the stories we tell ourselves. For instance, The next time an old belief or emotion is triggered, instead of reacting automatically, pause and ask yourself, is this belief serving me? What new meaning could I assign to this experience that would lead to a more positive outcome? Then listen to the impressions from your internal wisdom. Discover a different way of knowing. Practicing mindfulness and self-awareness intentionally allows us to break free from the limiting or destructive patterns and programs from the past. When we pause and create space for reflection, we open ourselves to the wisdom and guidance that stem from our spiritual core, suggestions that align with our truest and best self. Again, start by slowing down and observing your thoughts. When you become aware of negative or limiting beliefs creeping in, don't accept it as fact. Instead, challenge it and replace it with a more constructive, compassionate, and empowering perspective. Over time, you will notice this practice will reshape not just your thoughts, but your entire reality. For instance, instead of thinking, I always mess things up, reframe it as, I'm learning and growing from every experience. Instead of dwelling on the past disappointments, shift your focus to the opportunities and possibilities that lie ahead. By consistently practicing this mental shift, or should I say soul shift, you're not only fostering a more positive outlook, you're transforming the way you experience life, empowering yourself to navigate challenges with resilience and optimism. When we consciously craft stories rooted in our pure intelligence, stories infused with kindness, compassion, and empowerment, we'll begin to notice a profound shift in our life. These new narratives will shape our actions, fostering a life filled with greater peace, fulfillment, and happiness. So take a moment and pause and reflect. What story are you telling yourself about your life right now? Is it a narrative that uplifts and empowers you, or one that holds you back? Own, really own, and celebrate that you are the author of your story. Deliberately, with intention and purpose, write your story. The pen is in your hand. The page is blank. The only question is, what kind of story will you create next?